What is going on to all my White Lotus fans out there, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Elliot and this is MovieFiles. Today we are doing something a little bit differently from our standard reviews that we do for the White Lotus. Today, as you can see from the title, we're talking theories, we're talking predictions ahead of this Sunday's premiere of the finale, and I'm so excited for the finale, but I'm also sad because we're ending a fantastic season. But hey, before we get into all that fun stuff, if you all haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with all my White Lotus content. You can also give your boy a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All those links can be found in the description of this very video. Which, speaking of this video, if you enjoyed my theories and my predictions, make sure you all are hitting that thumbs up. Make sure you're sharing this video, and more importantly, share your predictions, your final theories before we get to this Sunday's finale in the comments. And hey, after Sunday, we can come back to this video and say, hey, I was right, I was wrong, you were right, you were wrong, and just have a good time. So with all that being said, just a friendly reminder, I will be putting this out probably 2 days or a day before the finale, so we will be going live for the finale to do 2 live streams. Number one at 7:45 Central Time, we'll be doing a pregame to do our watch party. So we will be watching the finale together as a community, and it's going to be a fun time. So hopefully you all can join us. I'm going to leave that link to that stream in the description of this video, and then maybe 10-15 minutes, take a little water break, cool myself off after we find out who lives, who dies. We're going to go live again probably around 9:15, 9:20 that same night to have a live after show, just to talk openly about all the reveals, having a good time, talk about our predictions. Were we right? Were we wrong? Were there surprises we didn't see coming? So again, this Sunday, watch party, and then we're going to do a live after show. Can't wait to see you all there. But today, we're talking about predictions and theories. And these past 6 weeks, I've been throwing in my hat on some theories. Some of them have been coming true of a certain extent. Some of them I've been way off, but that's the fun thing about these videos and these predictions. I hope to be wrong because I don't want to be writing the show, right? I want to be surprised. So let's have a fun time and talk about it. So the way I want to structure this video, I'm going to kind of break it into groups, kind of like safe characters, kind of characters I think might be on the threshold of maybe not making it out by the finale, and then I'll get into my, this character is probably going to die. So that's how we're going to handle it. And let's start off with the safe bets, the people that are probably going to be okay, and that is grouping this particular group with Mia, Valentina, Roscoe, and Isabella. Now, obviously, the 2 characters I just mentioned in that group will be safe because we saw them in episode 1 looking at the dead bodies. I'm referring to Valentina and Roscoe. They were the ones that were okay. They saw from the cops that there were some guests who we'll talk about, and there was also some maybe not so guests that were ended up in that water. So I think that they're safe. And also I think Isabella is a safe character as well, because I think her purpose of the show was to kind of be that reveal that Valentina was a lesbian, but also just kind of show this idea of her opening herself up more to the workspace. So I think Isabella is going to be okay. I could be wrong, but I think she's going to be fine. I think all the staff of the White Lotus will be fine. But then that brings us to Mia. I think Mia, her whole story of being this innocent girl who just broke up with her boyfriend, has her friend Lucia that kind of gets her into her field, and it just kind of corrupted her. Now, I don't think, and we know that the line was, girls like us get punished. I think they're going to be okay, and we'll talk about Lucia a little bit later, but I think their punishment will not be on them, but for the people they're around. So I think those characters are safe, again, being Isabella, Roscoe, Valentina, and Mia. I could be wrong with Mia and Isabella, but we all know Valentina and Roscoe will be fine. But that brings us down to the Grasso family. I'm referring to Bert, Albie, and Dom. And let's go ahead and throw Lucia in that group. Now, there's a lot to say about this group here because I believe, and I said it in my last video, I know how I feel about Lucia. I think she's a really fun character. She's probably my favorite character on the show next to Harper. But I think this whole wolf in sheep clothing is starting to come out. I believe, and not that it was meant to be like a really bad thing that she was doing, but I think she's playing the Grasso family. I think, and I said it in my review of episode 6, I think Lucia is working with the mafia, and not in like a hitman type of way, but let's get some money out for these rich guys. If you go back to episode 1, her and Mia posting up by the ship, scouting out their next targets, right? And then the whole thing of Alexio and Nikki Lo, I believe is her name. If I mispronounced that, I apologize. But they just seem too on the nose, in particularly Alexio, because he comes off as this guy as like, oh, he's very abusive to her. But it's such a coincidence that he pops up in these times when she's around the Grasso family. He pops up when they were walking in the alley with Albie. He randomly finds them when they're going on their Grasso trip to find their roots. I think Lucia is behind all this. And again, I think her intentions are, let's take them for their money and maybe get a plane ticket to LA out of it. I think that was the intention, but I think it might be, and this is where we get a little bit darker, I think this is where things go awry. I think this is where things go wrong. And this goes back to what I mentioned in episode 6. What is the Bert purpose of him going back to his roots? Now, obviously, there's a bigger story to say about masculinity and the 3 generations of how men treat women. Bert was the whole, we do it in front of our wives, cheating and is nothing that they can say. We're the breadwinners of the family. How that transitions to Dom's generation of how rich men pay these women secretly, discreetly, and not put it all the way out there. And then we have, what's the result of those 2 generations? We have Albie, who is, the feminist and wants to make sure he doesn't offend women, but then he also has his own kind of ways around him. I think all that stuff has been well written into the show, but I think the purpose of Bert and the whole idea of him looking for his roots, but more particularly how that ties into Bert and this whole theme of The Godfather. Bull Elephant was the name of the episode, particularly that replaying and that reenactment of that particular scene of The Godfather. Like, I remember The Godfather, but I don't remember all the minute details. It's been many, many years since I've seen that film. But the scene that they were showing on the TV and the scene that they were recreating at that cafe area was the scene where Al Pacino's wife was accidentally killed. That bomb in that car was meant for Al Pacino's character, but she was in the wrong place in the wrong time. Tying it back to Lucia, I think there might be a potential, in her mind, safe kidnapping of one of the Grasso members, whether that's Albie, whether that's Dom, whether that's Bert. Take one of the members, get some money, get the plane ticket, distribute it to the mafia, get them off my tail, but something goes wrong. And going back to The Godfather, I'm not saying someone's going to be exploded in a car, but I think something's going to happen to one of the Grasso family and be a result of one of them dying. And the thing that will be so kind of heartbreaking, and it could be most likely out of all those members of the Grasso family, I think it could be the young one. I'm talking about Albie. And because we've been talking about it for weeks, he's such a good guy. He has this bad luck with women. And I think what's going to be bad is it all boils down to Lucia and who let Lucia into the hotel. Dom. He was the one that invited them in. If Dom would have never had his cravings, his sex cravings, they would have never met Lucia. So I think it's going to kind of fall back on him being the person that he is and him having his cravings and it kind of all playing back on him, but then also falling back on his dad, Bert, how he kind of was raised in that environment of sleeping with other women, having an open marriage that's not wanted from your wife. I think we're going to end up seeing the young generation, and it's kind of like the whole theme of the sins of your father. The sin of your father is his urges end up getting Lucia in the mix, which end up getting the mafia in the mix, which is going to end up getting Albie killed. Could be wrong with that, but let me know what you all think about that. I think Lucia is going to be fine. And again, the whole girls like us get punished. They're going to be fine, but their actions are going to get someone killed. In this case, Albie. Let me know your thoughts on that. And then it brings us to a juicy group of people here. I'm talking Tanya, Portia, Jack, and Quentin, and of course, Greg. All right, so this whole thing, we talked about it in the last few weeks. Greg is the cowboy of Quentin, but somehow, some way, they've fallen apart over the years. But as Quentin told Tanya episodes ago, he still would do anything for him. So remember in episode 1, then we see Tanya get off the boat. And one of the first things Valentina says to her is, your husband's already here, which means to me, Greg was already meeting with Quentin to come up with this elaborate scheme to get the divorce going, but more importantly, get money for my wife. And the whole scheme so far that it looks to be is, Quentin, give her the lifestyle. Take her to the opera, introduce her to your friends, introduce her to an individual that worked with the mob that might have some consequences with Lucia and Niccolo. Get her to that, take some drugs. Y'all know from last week, and I did a little short on this, there was a camera in Quentin's room to get all this on footage because that's an easy way to get a divorce. My wife, I did nothing wrong, Mr. Lawyer, Mr. Judge. My wife cheated on me. I want a divorce, but I want that money to come with it. So I think that's the plan at hand. But then the question is Is it more driven by Greg to get money? Is it more led by Quentin to not only get money, but maybe get his cowboy back in return? And how does that affect other characters? Now, that ties into what's going on with Portia and going on with Jack. I think Jack might end up dying because he seems to be on this very almost edge of his life and the whole coming out of a hole. And I think him revealing this to Portia is going to end up having him feeling bad and maybe overdosing, overdrinking, drinking too much, falling off a cliff and ending up in the water. I think that's what the Jack Portia angle is going into, which again goes back to her episode 1. I just want to have fun. I want to have a reckless boyfriend for a week. And I think this is the result of that and kind of open herself up to someone that's not necessarily good for her. So again, just recapping, I think as far as death goes, the only character I can see dying in that group of people would probably be Jack, in my opinion. I see Tanya being safe because I know Mike White loves Jennifer, and I can assume that Jennifer will probably be back for season 3. I could be wrong in regards to her returning, but I don't think she's going to die. I don't think Portia's going to die. If anything, I will maybe throw in Quentin because of his whole not want to be on Earth without beauty, and also his love and maybe obsession with Greg and him, maybe their plan not working out and him doing something to himself, which brings me back to that painting in the intro, a burning house. Maybe that's his house burning, taking his own, life away. So we'll see what comes of that, but let me know what you all think of all those groupings, which brings us to the final group of characters, and it's our favorite couples. I'm talking Daphne, I'm talking Cameron, I'm talking Harper and Ethan. Now, I think this one is, I don't want to say obvious, but again, it goes back to episode 1 when Roscoe told them about the story of that particular sculpture and the wife killing her husband because the husband killed or slept with another woman. And in return, he lost his life and his head ended up in the garden. I think this story, or that particular story, will play a little bit differently where the husband kills the wife potentially, and the husband being Ethan, and might be killing Harper due to the fact that, yes, I am still in the camp that I think Harper and Cameron hooked up. I made a little YouTube short explaining my reasoning. One being that there's a lot of evidence that shows that Harper got a little busy, whether it was 2 seconds or 15 seconds. I think that something happened with those two, but I think we can see Harper maybe being killed at the hands of her husband because she was the one in the reversal story. She slept with not a local, but she slept with Cameron, and in return, rage comes out with Ethan. And that rage might not just be on Harper. That might be on his buddy, old pal from college. He might end up killing Cameron as well. He's lost it. He's just fully going psycho and killing people left and right. One being his wife, one being Cameron. But what does that mean for Daphne? All season long, it talked about her obsession with murder mysteries, death. She was the one that found the body. She was the one that we assume is she's safe. She wasn't dead. She's a survivor. But what does Daphne have to do with all this? Will she have any say in the reveal and telling Ethan that, yes, your wife slept with my husband? I'm okay with it. How are you? It's clearly not doing well, but I'm just very curious on what Daphne's role on the reveal is going to be in this season. I think there's going to be something more with her besides her baby daddy being Lawrence and all the different stuff and how she views her relationship, but I'm very curious on what they're going to do with Daphne. So again, out of that grouping, bye-bye Cam. And bye-bye to Aubrey Plaza as Harper. We'll see what comes of that. So I'm just so excited to see what happens on Sunday, and I'm more excited to be sharing it with you all. So again, just a friendly reminder, this Sunday, 7:45 p.m. Central Time, we'll be going live, doing a pregame, just having some fun, maybe final predictions. Then once the episode premieres, we're going to watch it together, talk about it briefly after the episode ends, and then 10 to 15 minutes after that, we're going to go live yet again, doing an after show, just talking about everything, favorite episodes, did the mystery work, how do we feel about the finale, and then we can talk about season 3. Where do we want to see them go in season 3? So it's going to be a fun time on Sunday. But with all that being said, thank you for watching this video. Again, let's have some fun in the comments. Share your final predictions, your final theories in the comments below. Before we wrap this thing up, as you can see on the screen now, make sure to like, share, leave your theories and predictions in the comments, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell. That way you can stay up to date with all my content. Click this button right here. Come and join the community. Check out all my reviews for the White Lotus. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all this Sunday to watch the finale.